Hello, I'm CJ Werleman. In this episode, we look at how the Muslim country of the Maldives is being threatened and harassed by India. But first, please don't forget to like and subscribe to our show. Now let's get into it. What makes the island archipelago nation of the Maldives extra special and unique is that it's the only country in the entire world to boast a population that's 100% Muslim. Well, 99.41% to be exact. But when non-Muslims think of the Maldives, they don't think about Islam. Instead, they imagine the country's white sandy beaches, turquoise waters, palm fringe islands, and luxury resorts. But the country offers far more than the contents of a glossy travel brochure. It also boasts one of the most vibrant Islamic cultures on the planet. The Maldivian constitution states that the country is a republic based on the principles of Islam, and it demands every citizen make a solemn declaration to preserve and protect the religion. For this reason, the Maldives boast one of the lowest crime rates, lowest suicide rates, and lowest drug addiction rates in the world. This is a truly happy and content society. And I was fortunate enough to see this for myself when I visited the Maldives for a surfing trip more than a decade ago. And it's where I surfed some of the best waves I've ever had in my life. It truly is one of the world's most beautiful places, and the Maldivian people count among the world's friendliest people. But sadly, they have come under attack from the Hindu nationalist regime in India, with the Modi government eyeing the Maldives as a vital strategic asset in its quest to expand its influence throughout the Indo-Pacific region, particularly because the island nation sits at the center of one of the world's busiest shipping corridors that links east with west. For this reason, India has been meddling in the country's politics by rigging elections, bribing political leaders, and tacitly threatening military action if it doesn't get its way. It's the worst kind of geopolitical bullying imaginable. But to understand what's happening today, we need to travel back to the year 2018, when India's puppet candidate Ibrahim Soleh won the country's general election by rigging the ballot. We know this to be true because his second-in-command told Indian reporters that the Modi regime helped rig the result by creating what he called a small window to win.
Indian officials and Indian diplomats were at it. They knew that they can create a small window, and if we even get a millimeter, we knew we could go ahead and we could win the elections. So to start with, I think Indian diplomats were very, very clever.
From the moment India's puppet seized power in 2018, he signed a secretive deal with New Delhi, allowing Indian military personnel to enjoy full diplomatic immunity and tax exemption status, thus constituting a violation of the Maldivian constitution, which states clearly that foreign soldiers may not be stationed in the country without full approval from the parliament. And he also signed other secret deals, including the construction of new Indian military bases that were sold to the public as infrastructure projects. When these documents were leaked to a local newspaper, the entire country took to the streets for weeks of protests, chanting, "India out."
The campaign, now banned by the government, started in 2020 as street protests, quickly gaining traction on social media. Those behind it say they only oppose India's small military presence in the Maldives and are not against trade, cultural and other ties.
At the height of these protests 2 years ago, a Maldivian political leader explained to me, for this article, how the people fear being caught in the middle of a potential future shooting war between India and China in the increasingly contested Indian Ocean. He said the Maldivian people don't want to be forced into a choice between India or China. They just want to maintain their independence, sovereignty, and control over their own destiny. And this is why they ousted Soleh in the general election held in September of last year and voted in new Prime Minister Mohamed Muizzu.
New president-elect of the Maldives, Mohamed Muizzu, arrives at his party headquarters to smiles and handshakes. After starting the campaign as the underdog, Muizzu emerged with a clear margin that left no doubt about his victory. Celebrations in the narrow streets of the capital Male, but Muizzu has urged restraint until campaign restrictions are lifted.
Muizzu was the choice of the Maldivian people because he has sworn to maintain the country's autonomy and reorientate the nation towards the Muslim world and away from regimes that persecute and oppress Muslims, like the Modi regime does in India and Kashmir and like the Chinese Communist Party does in East Turkestan. And he has also stated his unflinching commitment to the Palestinian people as they suffer unimaginable cruelty and brutality at the hands of their Zionist occupiers.
It's very clear the Maldives stand fully with the Palestinian people. They have the right to establish, an independent Palestine based on the 1967 borders with East Jerusalem as their capital. That's our stand, and we will give our fullest support to, hopefully achieve that in the future.
Musa was also building close ties with Turkey, as illustrated by this recent move to bring Turkish soldiers to the country to train their Maldivian counterparts how to operate advanced drone surveillance systems. And he has also angered India by announcing that all Indian soldiers stationed in the Maldives will be forced to leave the country by May 15.
No Indian military personnel, not even those in civilian clothing, would be present inside the Maldives after May 10th. These are the words of the Maldives President Mohamed Muizzu, the same man, the same language. This statement...
As you can see, the Maldives is getting back on its feet and standing up to Indian military aggression and the Hindu nationalist colonial enterprise, an enterprise that has served up nothing but vicious cruelty and discriminations to Muslims in India and Kashmir during the past decade. But in standing up to India, the Maldives has shown the rest of the Muslim world that Islamic countries can and should confront great powers that aim to dominate them into submission. I mean, take the Muslim majority country of Bangladesh, for example. The Maldivians have inspired their Bangladeshi brothers and sisters to launch their own India Out campaign. Because as we reported last year, the current Bangladeshi Prime Minister has cozied up to the Hindu nationalist movement to maintain her stranglehold on power. And as a result, Bangladeshi Muslims are suffering under India's colonial influence. It's therefore critically important that journalists and human rights activists be committed to exposing the bullying tactics of great powers in Muslim countries, which is why I urge my colleagues to keep a close eye on the Maldives, particularly because the Indian government is now stepping up its pressure campaign by escalating threats and punitive action against the small island country.
We cut across to big news coming in on the same. Aviation and Tourism Chamber has now sought for Maldives boycott, wants the travel agencies to stop promoting Maldives. The travel body says invest in Lakshadweep instead.
The Maldivian people will need every bit of assistance we can provide them in resisting the Indian colonial expansionist project. And you can do so by amplifying their voices on social media, especially because India will be doing everything in its power to remove the current Prime Minister and replace him with another pro-India puppet regime. For now, the Maldives represents a beacon of hope in the fight against global injustice. Let's do everything we can to ensure it stays this way. But that's my time for today. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and we kindly ask you please support our effort to expose and confront injustices in the Muslim world by becoming a member of this show at patreon.com/CJWhirleman. We can't produce, sustain and grow the show without your help, and we offer exclusive benefits to those who do. But for now, good morning, good evening, wherever you are, and stay blessed.